welcome to yet another episode in this very wonderful channel about relationships, about wellness, about beauty. I don't know why you're here, but if you're here for the same reasons as I am, then you're here for another very educative topic. And before I even proceed, let me just say thank you for you who's joining me for the first time. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And if you're a continued subscriber, thank you very much. Like this video, comment, tell me something, anything that you'd want me to know, even if it's that I look very beautiful. I appreciate comments. Or you have a question, a critic, whatever it is. Thank you very much. And I will not even take more of your time. Today, let's just say today, being October, a very beautiful day, is a day that I have a beautiful person with me. Like, I wish you guys could see what I'm looking at. Have you ever seen that very beautiful woman who is gorgeous? She's radiating in her glory.
Thank you so much. For a minute right there, Jacinta, I actually turned to check did someone else join us here, and I
No,
was
it's
unaware.
you.
Thank you so much for your very kind compliments.
You're most
It's
welcome.
really a pleasure to be here, and I'm really honored to be in your show. And I'm
Thank
looking
you.
forward to our conversations.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. Well, I'm not going to bust the bubble. I'll allow you to introduce the topic. Then we can say what we really are doing today.
But I'd love so much if you will at least tell us your name and
Yes.
what you do.
Okay.
First of all, I know they're dying to just know what this lovely lady who I don't know if somebody has ever told you this, but I know we are almost in December, and in December is when it's the mango season. And let me tell you, they say make friends with the Kamba ladies. Those maembes during this season in December, they are very yellow, very sweet, and you look just like that. You look so delicious.
Like that for mangoes.
Yeah.
Okay, Sawa, enough of that.
So please introduce
Okay.
yourself, your name.
Thank you. Thank you. So, my names are Mrs. Clara Maina, and I am a lifestyle and relationship coach. I love to bring out the best in people so that they can fulfill their potential and their purpose in life, and also to see relationships work. I live by the mantra of intentional living, and that's what I love to see people do. So I'm really glad to be here and for us to have this very interesting topic. And I hope that it's going to build someone out there.
Oh, definitely. So thank you very much, Clara,
Thank
for
you.
the wonderful introduction. And I'm just going to tell you about today's discussion because you might understand exactly why I'm going to call her something called a fixer. Whereas if you've been watching the other videos, and if you've not watched, please feel free to go back, watch all the other videos that I've uploaded. And I can say for a fact from all the videos that I've done that I'm not a fixer like her. I'm this person that we can call the exiter in quotes because I help women to live relationships, toxic relationships, and I underline the word toxic. We'll underline the word toxic because I don't advocate for people to just live relationships. And I remember there's an episode, either the first or the second, where I've talked about a scorecard and the things that you need to look at before you actually determine your relationship to be toxic or healthy. So being a fixer, my friend here, and being an exiter, I think we have the perfect combination for this topic today. And the topic will be, when do you know that it's time for you to leave, and when do you actually determine that it's time to stay or maybe work it out? And I think you're the perfect person.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
Actually, Jacinta, this topic is hard because, and I appreciate what you've said, that you help people exit toxic relationships, because also it's good to know your strength.
That's true.
Honestly speaking, I think if someone was in a toxic relationship, I would still try to find the good in the other person and try and make them stay and all that.
Yeah.
And I think now it's just understanding that I'll look for every possible reason to make the person stay, as long as it's not going to be life threatening.
Yeah.
And for you, you're going to help the person see what is this that is really going to keep you there
Yes,
at the at a price of you losing
Losing
yourself.
yourself.
So
That's
yes,
true.
so when do we know how to live, and when
And
to
when to
stay?
stay, yeah.
And I'd even want to just put it in, like, when I got to read your book, Unbound.
Yeah.
Wow, first of all, I cried all the tears that
Yeah.
I could muster in my number of years
Wow.
years that I've lived. And I said, when I looked at it, as much as I'm a fixer, I was like, the writing was already on the
The
wall.
wall. Yeah.
You should have first already left. And I also come to realize over time that it's so easy to say
Yeah.
leave when
Wake
you're
up and
outside,
leave. Yeah.
because you can see the things that the other person is not
That's
seeing.
true. Which is a
So-
very sad state, because I feel like even right now where I'm standing, sometimes people come to me, my clients, and they'll be telling me this is the kind of situation I'm in.
Yeah.
And I also ask myself the very same thing. Why are you even there? How did you even tolerate getting to this point?
Yeah.
But they who are inside this situationship or situation, they can't see it. They're coming to me confused, wondering, do I stay? Do I leave?
Yeah.
But for me, I can see it clearly, like, what are you doing there?
But at the point of that happening, do you usually feel like it's a responsibility? Like, what if this person comes back and starts saying, Jacinta, you're the one who made me leave this relationship. I actually thought it could work.
Work.
You know, sometimes I'm usually like, hi.
I know that's very true, and that is something that I've had to reevaluate. But what I do is, I don't even tell them what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I will give you the tools that you need. I'll show you what a toxic relationship first of all even looks like, and it might even check your boxes. And then I will give you the tools, and I will leave you to make your choice for you.
Yeah.
I normally say I cannot make that choice for you, because that's a very personal choice. This person can be toxic, so toxic. They can be so unhealthy. They can be very abusive towards you.
Yeah.
But it's only you who can make the final choice. Yeah. I think the very same thing to how it is, even when you're
When it
deciding
comes
to make it
fixing.
work.
Yes.
Yeah.
The same applies. Because, again, you don't want to bear the responsibility of the person staying in a relationship that could end up becoming fatal
That's
for
true.
them. But in this day and age, I'm finding like people have an easy way of looking for a way out. Like, people have a way of looking for a very easy way to get out of a situation.
Yeah.
I feel like we are either having microwave kind of relationships, and also, you know, the takeout kind of relationships. You know how I'm hungry, let me just have a takeout. I eat the junk and then just throw it away, compared to taking time to prepare a meal and then eat. You know, when you take time to
whole
prepare
thing.
that meal, you will value that meal. When it's just a takeout, you don't really care. So I feel like people are also very hasty in dumping relationships, leaving relationships, dropping somebody and moving on.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel, but before you get to that place of saying it's
Deciding
over,
done.
can we make
You
it work?
tried it all.
It could be a toxic relationship, but understanding also why is it toxic? Am I the cause of that toxic
Toxicity.
relationship, or is that person toxic in themselves?
Yeah.
So that's why I'll try and tick all the boxes also.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing us becoming quite a powerhouse. I think probably we should be doing
I-
dual
A
coaching.
collab, or yeah, after you're done with them, if they are at this crossroads, like, you know, going back,
Yeah.
you're going out now, you can't.
Yes, I'm like, now here, I think you guys deal with
With her.
Jacinta. And then you tell them, hey, come to Clara. Then
I
we
think
s-
you're very right in the perspective that I'll give an example of me. Personally, I had gone through couples therapy. I had prayed for my relationship, and I think that's something else that people need to learn. When we are talking about praying for a relationship, sometimes that hinders us from actually even living faster, because I was inside it and I kept praying for it to get better. But I think I found my clarity the minute that I just prayed for clarity. I just said a very simple thing, like, if it's meant to be, well and good. If it's not, that's still okay. Like, your will be done.
Yeah.
It was no longer about control. It was no longer about me trying to make it work. And like when I was saying, I just wanted to be better, because that kept me stuck there.
Yeah.
So I would say that I had done it all. And this is something that I also ask my people. before you come to me and you're saying that it's done, what have you done about trying to make it work?
Yeah.
And then the other thing is normally, is this two people who are making this choice? Because if you come to me, the both of you, you and a partner, and you're like, we'd want to make it work, because it's a couple, it's a partnership. Two people to make it work, two people to make it fail. So if you come, the both of you, it means that you're willing to work on it.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm working on my part personally, and he's also working on his part separately.
Yeah.
But the mean that you're the only one who's trying to make it work, then there's a huge disconnect.
That's true. I agree with you. Two can play that game, and it takes two to tango. There is, even if you're the only one who's working on it, high chances of it working are almost close to zero, because again, it took the other person for you guys to have a relationship. So I agree with you on what you're saying. And I was feeling, as you're talking, I wanted to bring out like a scenario, because I think it's good to work with scenarios. We see, if we have this kind of a scenario, how would we handle it? How would Miss Fixed handle it? How would Miss Exeter handle it? And I was thinking, this kind of a situation where you have been married for like 10 years, and this man has been abusive, physically and emotionally, but he provides everything that you want. I know sometimes it's starting to feel like yeah, but it's not yours. But it's most of the time, I think those are the classic scenarios that play out, where the woman is not financially independent, and then she's having to rely on the man, and she wants out, but she decides, as long as I'm going to have these things being done, I mean, I have a good house, I'm driving a nice car, my kids are in a good school, status quo in the society where I am, at how people regard me, maybe let me just stay. I don't know whether, I know I'm almost depicting, but I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag, because I really want the people to read your book handbound. But what do you think? What do you say to such a person?
Well, I would always start by asking the person, how self-aware are you of yourself?
Yeah.
Because when you become self-aware, then you learn what you value. To somebody else, they are very money-minded. It's, if I have all the money in the world, me, I'm good. Whatever you decide to do, whatever, even if you're gone, you're disappearing, you're working, I don't know where, coming back after a year or a month or whatever, they are good.
Yeah.
And also, what's your love language? For me, giving myself as an example, maybe I'm the one in that relationship.
Yes.
For me, I value quality time. I value things like touch. So gifting is normally there, almost as the last thing.
Yeah.
So mostly you find that money will go hand in hand with gifting. So if you're giving me gifts, then we might end up being the scenario of where you hear a woman is living in this grand mansion. She has a chauffeur, she has a gardener, but then she's having an affair with the gardener because he's always around.
Oh, that's
because those are the important things to me.
Yeah.
But what you're giving me is not what would make me stay in a relationship. And now you find that maybe my partner thinks that they're giving me everything that would make me happy, everything that would make me stay.
Yeah.
So it always starts from self-awareness. And once I know what I like and what works for me, I will try to communicate to my partner. And now when you get to that point where you're not listening to me, you're stuck there, it means that I'm just working on this relationship alone. I'm trying to make it work, but I'm not getting satisfied. And now when you add the abuse, then for me, there we don't talk about anything.
The emotional abuse or the physical abuse?
Both. Because even in the emotional abuse, it's normally like it starts in phases. Rarely will you find somebody who just starts becoming physical. Normally there will have been the emotional part before.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's true.
So, and the thing about abuse is that it intensifies with time. It doesn't get better.
It only increases. Yes, that's actually what I usually tell people as they're dating. Is what you're seeing right now is the best version of that person that you'll ever see. Because if you think you're going to see it after you've gotten married, or unto you, because that's when the masks get to
Fall
be
off.
to fall off, and you see the true colors of this person. No more rainbows and whatever. It's either black or white or
White.
red, or it's not pink or rose gold or whatever. You see the actual color, and so like you've said, it's gradual.
Yeah.
However, I also think that by the time someone is exhibiting their toxic side, that it also takes a situation or an environment to bring that aspect of the other person. And so I think there's a way that probably we could find a way of, can we find the background? Can we find what is the root cause of this toxic relationship? Because even if you are in that toxic relationship and you leave, that person is still half baked. And so the next person they're going to be with, it will still be the same
continues.
problem. So I also think, as we talk about, okay, again, don't lose your life in the name of having a marriage or staying in a relationship. It's also good to find out, where is all this coming from? Because I also think sometimes when we miss out on that part, we kind of like what can I say, like dismiss the person. We've disregarded the person's life, and they also need to have a valuable life as they live.
But doesn't that matter in terms of what do they feel about it? Because I normally feel like I'm only responsible for me. When I try to dig into your past, like what happened to you, your childhood and all that, but you're not willing. You're very okay. You know, the thing about most people, we walk around thinking, this is me, this is who I am. But it's rare to find somebody questioning, why am I the way I am? Why do I feel the way I feel? Why do I talk the way I talk?
Yeah.
That comes with self-awareness. So for me, I can say I'm this way because I'm self-aware. But if my partner
It's not self-aware.
decides they are okay with the way they are, how can I help them?
I think, okay, in that situation, timing is important. When we are asking those kind of questions that are about to, they might trigger. By the time you're coming to ask me that, Jacinta, it's because you've noticed something about me. So, of course, it will be important for you to be wise, to know, is Clara in a good mood today? Are we in a good space today? Can I ask her that question? Unfortunately, we usually ask those questions at the height of the fire, being this hot and all that. But now of pouring water, we just pour more fuel with that kind of question, because now the person is not in a good space mentally. Then or now you have just made them feel judged, and you have concluded, and maybe all you wanted was just to find out, where is this coming from? So if we look at the timing of how to handle that, and it's when the both of you are in a good space, because even in toxic relationships, I'm sure there are some few moments where you could be laughing with each
There are
other
good times.
and you're okay with each other. Isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. But what happens is that in a toxic relationship, when you're having good times, you just want to savor them. Yani, you don't even want to have this. You're walking on eggshells. You don't want to say something that might stand this person again. So you when things are good, you just want them to be good. And you might say something, and this person takes a 360 turn. But then sometimes it's not even something huge that happens. You've heard of people getting killed and stabbed because of 10 bobs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's been crazy.
the
lately.
turnaround is normally like this. You never even understand. Remember, like personally, the very first time when I came to understand what's going on, I used to to ask my therapist, so what really happens? I tried to understand, because I was like, sometimes things are so good, then all of a sudden, out of the blues, they get so bad. And that's when I was taught about the cycle of abuse. The cycle of abuse, where you're in your honeymoon, and then now things become normal, and then from there there's the tension stage, and then now the full-blown abuse. And it was like, I could tell from this day to this day is where I'm having this moment, this day to this day I'm in this stage. Like, it was a full cycle, and it kept going on and on and on. And when you're stuck in that, it's a cycle, so it never ends. So the only way to come out of it is for you to break it. You need to get out, otherwise you still continue going round and round in circles. Yeah.
Because I've come across people who decide, I'm in a toxic relationship and I'm leaving. Some others will be like, I've even actually already left. When you try to ask what exactly was entailed that relationship to be toxic, you really can't see it. I don't know whether it's because I'm misfixed that I mean, it really has to hold some ground, of what it is. Just out of the blues, I'm like, when can we call it quits? Because I feel like we really need to put in a lot of work in terms of making sure that our relationships and especially marriages that they work. Because if we are always looking at this person is always moody, maybe they could be going through a phase. And also you could be the trigger.
That's true.
Yeah, maybe you're the kind of person who's always yap. Once women, we are so good at nagging. Maybe you're the one who's always nagging and all that. And sometimes the roles could be reversed. The toxic relationship could be the guy is good, the girl is the one who is toxic to the core.
That's very true.
And normally, most of the time when we are talking about it, it ends up looking like the guy is always on the wrong side and the girl is on the good side. So I don't know. What would you say? Like, what would
First
it
of
entail?
all, toxic. When you're in a toxic relationship, just know you're toxic. Whether you're the victim or you're the perpetrator, both of you are very toxic, because it's like a dance. Like, it takes two to make the relationship work. It takes two to just make it fail.
Yeah.
Because there's something called survival tactics. Me, I know, and normally this is how you deal with me. I adapt my own survival skills. You not always be, when you're hitting me, I have a way of responding to you, or I have a way of protecting myself. So I'm in survival mode. And it's these things, these survival tactics, that even make you, when you leave this relationship, chances of the relationship failing and in another space, another setup with another person, are very high, because you've not shed them off.
Yeah.
And I believe that everyone has their own capability. Like the way we are told, some people bring out the best in you, some people bring out the worst in you. We all have those traits.
Yeah.
The good traits and the bad traits. So you can either be somebody who brings out the best in you, or they actually make you this other person. And that's why you find that in a certain relationship, even it's somebody that you thought was the worst, they get married to another person and they live for years, and you're like, what happened? Because maybe they knew how to dance with them. And I think it also comes down to things like compatibility. Are you guys willing to do this? And your willingness. I believe, like, for you, the way you're willing to make a relationship work, if you got into a relationship with somebody who is not willing to make it work, like, I don't know, instances, maybe they were from a single parenthood kind of family. For them, they have seen that, like, let's say for a woman, she's used to that sort of an environment. She saw her mom being single, and she doesn't even know how to be in a setup of that has both a mom and a dad. So for her, it's no big deal. So one argument might actually, I'm not saying this is the general rule.
Yeah, but we're just giving it as an example.
She might decide, you know what, why am I even struggling here? Let me just walk away, But if you get into a relationship thinking, we are here to make it work, I think it's very different from that other person.
I also like what you're saying. Backgrounds play a very big factor in how we handle the relationships. And it's true, the toxic person, the one who's being the victim and the perpetrator, are both become toxic. So and most of the time when you're a victim, you keep saying you. Even you yourself, you don't realize that when you move to the next relationship, you are as toxic as the other person. Oh wow, I'd actually really not even thought about that until you said that.
It actually happens. That's why, how do you know when somebody has healed? Is where they can say, by they contributed to this relationship failing this way. If they cannot be able to say that, if they're still pointing fingers at their partner, then they haven't healed. And they've not worked on themselves. Because you're supposed to learn, you're supposed to ask yourself, so what did I do? So that even in the next one, don't bring the very same baggages.
But I think there are certain things that really need to be very critical by the time you're saying you're leaving a relationship because it's toxic. Because it could be ambitions. Ambitions change. I mean, the way I was when I first met my husband in my early 20s is not how I am right now. And does that warrant that I am in a toxic relationship and I leave? Because I also wanted to find out, like, at what point do you tell the person, even if I help exit, this one you're not exiting? And there are those that you can see they are intimate intellectually in every other way, but they just bring out the worst in each other. This one you have to exit no matter what. So I feel it's important to really have a good, like what you're saying. You usually make the people do some tests and just check out what is this that is making me leave. Because I also ask, what is this that is making you stay? First of all, is to understand, why are we in this relationship? What is the purpose of this relationship? Because once you already understand what is the purpose for the relationship, then you're going to have the stamina to fight for it. But if you do not have an understanding of that, chances are you'll easily let it
give
go.
up. That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're very right about that. And I think we're doing a very good job in terms of how people are easily giving up on relationships, and also in terms of how people are still willing to stick. Even when relationships are so bad. I feel that yes, as much as there are people willing to just walk out very fast, there's still those other people who are willing to stick it out there. And the difference is that now pressures are so much. I think life has really changed compared to the way it used to be during our moms, our grandma's time. The pressures are more, taxes, the economy, what. So people are under a lot of pressure. That's why you even hear so many cases of death. And then we don't have positive role models anymore, like the way we used to have them before. The way people used to look up to marriage is no longer the same way. So I feel like we are both doing a very good job.
That's true. I really appreciate what you're doing, because even though I'm calling myself Miss Fix It, I think it's also important to understand that society will really push you to be in a situation that you really should not be in, because most of the time, especially your parents will, what watasemaje, what will people say, and all these kind of things. We grow up thinking, what will people say? Whatever you're doing out there, what will people say? That you forget about your well-being, yourself, and it's really important to do that. I really applaud you, and it's so brave of you to go in uncharted waters, because especially in our African culture, this is not the norm. This is not the norm. However, I really applaud you, and I really appreciate you coming out strong and even being very vulnerable. Speaking about it in your book, it's such a beautiful story, but it is one that one will definitely need a whole toilet roll of pack of 10 or some several serviettes as they're reading it. And I really appreciate that.
Let me just say that you're echoing the words of so many people who have read the book.
Yes.
Because they keep telling me, I have cried and cried. Some send me pictures like, this is how I look. In their book.
I should have sent you mine then.
And the honest truth is that I also cried. Like there were some chapters there that I cried a lot. Writing them, I also cried a lot because I relived the book. I relived that moment and how it felt back then. But I'm glad that it can influence people, that people are learning from it. They know that pain, it's life. And also where you are doesn't have to be the end of your life, or this is it because you found yourself in this relationship, that's the end. I'm hoping that one day I'll be able to write another book which has a happy ending, or which talks about the happily ever after kind of thing.
We look forward to that. We really look forward to that. I look forward to that, and you're such a beautiful, you're a great author. For a first book, that was really amazing.
Thank you very much.
And it's just good for people now to understand that. I mean, it's not every relationship that you've got to exit, and it's not every relationship that you have to stay in. There are red flags that you need to look out for, the ones that are telling you just leave. I think for me, it's when you start even asking yourself, who am I? Sit down and ask yourself, where did we go wrong? Because there are things that happen, like you've said, life happens. So many things come up, and we find ourselves drifting away from each other. Does that mean that we leave each other? Surely.
No.
We've also got to look at what we've invested in, and look at, let's go back to the drawing board. What do we need to make right? And even after doing all that, and you realize that it's still not working, or you've realized you need help, I'm happy to help. In the event that you try to work it out and you realize no matter what happens, we're still bringing out the worst in each other,
Now I
Jacinta
come
is
in.
here to help.
Your person.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Claire.
Thank you.
Clara. I don't know why I'm calling you Claire.
It's fine. It's a French.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I just appreciate you being here. Looking at you, I can already tell that relationships, you can always tell somebody from the kind of relationship they're in from even the way they look like.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can tell that. Have you ever met somebody who has come and then it's like they've just come from a tornado? Yani they were in the eye of it, hapo katikati. I normally see there's it was a meme. It was doing round some time back, and it was talking about when God has warned you about a relationship, but you're still holding on. You come out
Yes.
looking very dusty because what has happened there was no joke.
Yeah.
So you look like the site of a healthy relationship, a breath of
I
fresh
thank
air,
God.
and I think we'd all desire to be where you are.
Thank God.
But if things don't work out, I hope you look at me.
Mm.
I don't think I look as bad.
No, you don't.
So because I'm in a relationship with myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think it's guaranteed that you have to be in a relationship, honestly. If it's not serving you, it's not serving you. And this is not a selfishness thing. I always feel like, I think even the Bible says you love yourself first.
Love others
Love
as you
others
love
as you love yourself. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So if I cannot love myself, how will somebody else out of the blues just come and love me? You know? And also one more thing before we go. What advice would you offer people who feel like they have to keep living relationships? What would you tell them about? Do you take time to heal? What do you do?
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, if you just get to leave a relationship and jump into the other, definitely that relationship will also not last. Because you've got, the way you usually have a debrief when you've gone through a training and stuff like that. So it's important to also have a debrief with yourself and ask yourself, why didn't this relationship work? And have a very authentic moment with asking yourself very tough questions about self and not about the other person, because we are very quick to push the envelope to the other person. It's the other person. Look at it from a point of, what am I doing? What am I as Clara doing that these relationships are not working? Take time to do that before you get into another space, because this is what I say, Jacinta. If a cup is dirty, or let's say a glass, it's dirty, and then I pour water, clean water in it, will I be able to drink that water?
No.
So I've got to clean that glass or that cup before I put in any more water. And that's how our souls are like that. We cannot be able to accommodate another person and expect a beautiful relationship if we are still hurting from the previous one. So they've got to take some time off, find yourself again, walk a journey of self-discovery, and then get into that space of being a healthy person, so that you can be able to give a healthy relationship back to the other one. Yeah.
Well, I think that I have some a twist to that. I feel like it's very important. But if you're like me, I'd advise you just have standards. Have very high standards.
Standards of what?
Standards of a relationship, of how you expect to be treated and who you are as a person. That will save you a lot of trouble from even healing.
That's true. That's part of your discovery journey.
Yeah.
Have your standards, your own standards, and also of the standards of the
Of
other
your
person.
relationship, even.
Yes.
Because if I get into this relationship with this person who I feel is not meeting up to my expectations, why am I sticking? We move on to the next one. So there's no time for healing, because this person, have broken you.
No, the expectations is a topic for another episode, because that's why now you're touching another level
It's not
altogether.
even expectations, it's your value, your standards. Like for me right now, where I am at, why would I fix myself? Why would I find myself in this relationship with another person and they're not serving me? Maybe I'm looking for a husband, but then they're giving me boyfriend vibes. What am I doing there?
You're not in a relationship, you're just dating.
Yeah, but I'm dating. Why am I dating? At
To
this
see
point in
if
my
it
life,
can get serious.
I still feel like you should date with a purpose. I think that's a topic that we need to have.
That's why I say this is for our next episode.
Yeah, because for me, we'll not waste time.
If you'll
I'm in my
invite me,
30s.
that is.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much. It was such a joy being here.
Thank you very
I'm
much
so
for
grateful
coming.
for the opportunity to just have a good time sharing
Yeah.
and have some girl talk, and hopefully it gets to open up another person's eyes. And
Definitely.
even for me, I
Yeah.
learned from you quite a
Yeah.
lot, and I'm really grateful, and I'm looking forward to more invites.
I'm hoping that you
See,
come
I'm
back
already
again and
inviting
again.
myself.
Karibu sana for next time. And if you feel like you still want to see us, I'm feeling like you have a very good vibe here. Big sister, small sister, but I don't think I'm that small. The fixer, and what did I call
The
myself?
exiter.
The exiter. Yeah, we can call ourselves the fixer exiter duo. So if you feel like you like this vibe, please let me know in the comments below. Also remember to reach out to me on my socials, Facebook, Instagram. Jacinta Wangechi is my name, and I'm also on TikTok, giving more vibes, giving more stories, telling you more. So reach out to me, tell me something, DM me. I'm here to listen to you. And before I forget, I have a very interesting masterclass coming on the 19th of October, and it's going to be about building resilience. The reason as to why I talk about resilience is because it's a key ingredient, a key factor in you discovering yourself, in you reaching out for what you want, going for what you deserve, going for the better you. So if you feel like you're lacking that aspect of resilience, this is the class that you don't want to miss. So see you guys in the next episode. Bye bye.